Oh, what's good, YouTube? Swiftly here back with another video, and this is actually quite a long video, bro. I'm not gonna lie. Today's video, as you can see on your screen, we have our Tiermaker list, and in today's video, we're going to be ranking the top video game franchises, bro. So we're going to be ranking pretty much everything. Like, I've looked at this list, and it's quite an extensive list. We got video games going all the way back to like the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, the 2010s, and even the 2020s, current decade. We have tons of games. So just briefly, just showing you guys. Now, I know there might be some people that kill me in the comments. There's going to be games here, series that I didn't play. There's going to be some series that I played. There's going to be some series that that I love and enjoy. There's going to be some series that I dislike, that I really don't enjoy. There's going to be some series that I might have used to love that I don't enjoy playing anymore. There's going to be some series that I've never heard of. There's going to be some series that I've heard of. There's going to be some series that are like, on my backlog to play, that I haven't got around to playing yet. So, without further ado, let's jump into the video. This is going to be quite a long video. I'll try not to rant and ramble too much to try to make the video a little bit shorter, but definitely grab a snack or a drink or something, and let's go ahead and lock in on this adventure. So I'm actually going to jump around. I'm not going to just go down in a list because I feel like that would be a little too boring. So I'm just going to jump around here and there. So we'll start off at the very top. We'll start off with Street Fighter. I've played enough Street Fighter where I think I could put Street Fighter in. And here's the thing, I'm not really much of a fighter guy anymore. When I was a kid, younger, definitely Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, fighting games were definitely up there. I used to play a ton of fighting games, Power Stone, Evil Zone, Killing Zone, Bushido Blade, although that's like more of a sword game. That's not really so much of a fighting game. Soul Calibur, Tekken, King of Fighters, Marvel vs. Capcom. So I did love fighting games, but I would put fighting games in the category of I would put fighting games in the category of racing games, where it was like they were more fun when I was a kid, but now that I'm an adult, I really don't rock with them like that. But I would put Street Fighter above average. I would say overall, looking at all the Street Fighter games, going all the way back from the original Street Fighter, Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 2 Turbo, Street Fighter Alpha, Street Fighter, 4, 5. I haven't played 6, but I've played 5. I played 4, more recently. I played Street Fighter 2 growing up. I could say I would put Street Fighter in above average. I'm sure some people would go as far as putting it in good, but for me, I would say above average. That's where I'm going with Street Fighter, above average. Forza Motorsport. I can honestly say Forza is going in a never played pile. I know people are going to kill me, but Forza is just one of those series that I've never played. I've more so been like a PlayStation guy for most of my life. The only Xbox console I've owned was Xbox 360. I've had, Nintendo consoles, NES, SNES, had GameCube. I did have a Switch at one point, but I sold it. But outside of that, I've mostly been PlayStation. 360 was the only Xbox console I've had. And I think recently they just ported Forza to PlayStation, so maybe I will end up dipping my feet in Forza at some point. But if I did play racing games, it would be more so arcadey type of racing games, a Mario Kart, a Sonic Racing, a Crash Team Racing, or something like Need for Speed, Burnout, that type of game. Not so much Forza or Gran Turismo, although I've played some of the Gran Turismo games. I would say I would fall into like a Need for Speed, Burnout, Midnight Club type of person as far as racing games go. Let's go with Crash Bandicoot. Crash Bandicoot, a favorite of mine, bro. Crash Bandicoot, I'm not keeping it in the trash pile. I'm just dragging it so I can drag it up. But Crash Bandicoot, I would put this in the very good pile, bro. Definitely very good. I've played, I want to say pretty much every single Crash Bandicoot game. I played the OG trilogy, Crash Bandicoot 2 being my favorite. Uh, Crash Bandicoot 3 is a vibe, but I'm not really a fan of all the vehicle gimmicks and all of that stuff. You know, especially the motorcycle levels. I hate the motorcycle levels. Not really a fan of the jet ski water levels or the airplanes. Anything that's kind of gimmicky. I'm just not. I could deal with the bear riding and the hog riding from the original OG Crash Bandicoot, but the Crash Bandicoot 3, it was a good game, but it was just too many vehicle gimmicks. If you take out like the second motorcycle level and a couple of the airplane levels, I could really get behind Crash 3, but to me it was just way too many like gimmicky vehicles. But outside of that, I do love Crash 3, Crash 2 being my favorite, Crash 1, Crash 4 recently, Crash Wrath of Cortex, Twin Sanity. I forgot what the other one was. It was like Crash Twin Sanity and then like Crash something like Insane or Nitro or something like that. But I could say that I've played pretty much every single, if not every single one, Crash Bash, Crash Team Racing. I think there's a recent Crash racing game that came out. I don't think I played that one. But outside of that, I played the OG Crash Team Racing. And Crash Bash go crazy. Crash Bash, one of my favorite games. I'm not going to hold you. I rate Crash Bash, and people are going to kill me in the comments for this. I rate Crash Bash way higher than I rate Mario Party, in my opinion. In fact, I would go as far as to say I rate Crash Bash and I rate Sonic Shuffle over Mario Party. Like, and I know people, like I said, I know people going to kill me in the comments, but to me, Sonic Shuffle, Crash Bash, they just went crazy, especially Sonic Shuffle, bro. Crash Bash is up there too, but, you know, it's not as many mini games. It's just, you know, a handful of mini games, where it's like Sonic Shuffle, you got like tons of mini games. You got, you know, you're fighting for the Chaos Emeralds and stuff. It's just like Mario Party, but I don't know. I just enjoyed Sonic Shuffle more, man. Maybe it's because that's just what we played more as kids than Mario Party, but I don't know. That's just me. But I'm definitely putting Crash Bandicoot in a very good pile for sure. Wouldn't say masterpiece, but it was definitely a top tier franchise for sure for me. Next, I would do you know, since we on the topic of platformers, why not Sonic, bro? And Sonic is definitely, I'm gonna go. See, this is the thing. I feel like you could go either or. You could go very good or you could go good. Like, you could go either one of these because, like, last Sonic game I played was Sonic Colors, and I did not enjoy Sonic Colors. And then there was another Sonic game that I played before Sonic Colors, and I didn't enjoy that game either. But I feel like for every, and here's the reason why I'm going to put it in very good, though. This is the main reason why I'm going to eventually put it in very good. I feel like for every bad Sonic game there is a equally good or really good Sonic game. Like, if you give me Sonic Colors, I counter with Sonic Adventure. You give me Sonic 3D or whatever that one Sonic game is. I forgot the name of it, but it was like, I played it right before I played Sonic Colors. You give me that Sonic, whichever one it was like open world. You give me that Sonic, I did not enjoy that. I give you Sonic the Hedgehog 2. You give me this, I give you, like, you know, Sonic Adventure 2. You give me that, I give you Sonic, like, you know what I mean? Like, we can go back and forth. You know, I give you Sonic Heroes. You give me this, I give you, you know, Sonic and Knuckles. Like, for every bad Sonic game, I can equally give you a really good Sonic game. So that's the only reason why I'm going to go with very good. Personally, I would kind of want to put it in a good pile, but I'm going to go very good, bro. And I also, and it's crazy to me as a grown-ass man, I recently watched, like, the Sonic movies. Like, I want to say, I don't think it was this year. Maybe it was earlier this year. Maybe it was like the end of last year. But I recently watched Sonic 1, 2, and 3. And I'm not going to lie. The Sonic movies was actually like legit. I thought it was going to be trash. I ain't going to hold you. Like, little kid movies like that, it's not really a vibe for me no more. But I actually genuinely enjoyed the Sonic movies. I wasn't expecting to actually like the Sonic movies, and when Sonic, the next one come out, I think they're adding like Amy into the movies. I'm genuinely excited to see the next Sonic movie. I'm shocked that I enjoyed them, but yeah, bro, Sonic for sure. let's go with a classic. Let's go with a classic. Let's go with Super Mario. We're gonna go with a classic of Super Mario, and I gotta go masterpiece. I'm sorry, we gotta go masterpiece. I don't think there's a single person on this planet that's not putting Super Mario in the masterpiece ranking, bro. Like it, and more so, I'm putting it because of the coloring. The font coloring reminds me of one of my favorite Super Mario games of all time, and that is Super Mario World for SNES. Like, to me, that is hands down the, like, there's so many Mario games you could go with as the GOAT Mario game, but for me, Super Mario World just, when I think Super Mario, I think Super Mario World. That game. That, like, when I think Super Mario, that is the first game that come into mind. But there's just so many good Super Mario games, bro. Like, you know, you got Sunshine, you got Galaxy, New Super Mario Bros. You got 64. You got Super Mario Land on, like, Game Boy. Like, you got Super Mario Bros. 1, 2, and 3, like Super Mario World, you know, Yoshi Island. Like, it's just so many. And that's not even bringing up, like, the spin-offs like Dr. Mario and, you know, Mario Party and, you know, Mario Kart. Like there's just, it's just too many good games. There's just too many classic games for me to not put this in masterpiece. So you're not even gonna, like, you know what I mean? Like, there really is nothing you even need to say. You just drag this into masterpiece and you just move on. I didn't even need to talk about it. Like, we could have just dragged that there and just kept it pushing. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just what it is, bro. Now this next game, I'm gonna kind of tackle some games that I haven't played as well too, and I'm gonna go with Dragon Quest. Now, I've heard of Dragon Quest. I'm pretty sure Dragon Quest, like, I could have sworn I read somewhere that, like, it's not even called Dragon Quest anymore. It's like Dragon Warrior or Dragon something. I don't know, man. I was just recently reading about it, and I think it was because I was reading about the Yakuza series and how they were changing their name, like, because, you know, Yakuza is only Yakuza, you know, in like America and whatnot. Like, it's not called Yakuza in Japan, it's called Like a Dragon in Japan. But they were recently changing their name to be Like a Dragon universally everywhere. And somebody mentioned Dragon Quest, so I think that's the reason why Dragon Quest, like, was just something that was on my mind recently. But I really couldn't tell you anything about Dragon Quest. I've heard people talk about it. I've heard people talk about the games and say that they were really good, but yeah, I definitely need to brush up on my Dragon Quest. I've heard of the series, but I've never played a single Dragon Quest game. So, you know, that's on me. Will I play a Dragon Quest game? I probably will consider playing. I'll probably look up and see what's, like, the consensus best game in the series, and then, like, knock that out, you know, play it and see if it is for me. If it's not for me, then it's not for me. But if it is, you know, and I enjoy it, because I do enjoy, like, RPGs, fantasy games and stuff too, which that's going to bring us to our next game, and that's going to be Final Fantasy. And Final Fantasy, you already know where Final Fantasy going, bro. Final Fantasy gotta go a masterpiece. I'm sorry, bro. It has to. It has to go a masterpiece. There's no way that you can't put Final Fantasy in masterpiece, bro. Like think about it like this. I use the same criteria that I use for Super Mario. Is that it's just so many classic games, bro. Like, for me, 4, 6, 7, 9, 10, 10, 2, might get flack, but 13, you know, Lightning Returns. Like, I know I'll get flack. There's some that I don't care too much for, like 8, like 11, you know, the MMO. 12, wasn't really a fan of 12. 14, again, MMO, not really doing it for me. I still have 15 on my backlog, which I've owned 15 for, like, I don't even know how many years at this point, man. I remember buying 15 day one when it dropped. I went to Best Buy after I got off work, bought it, had the physical game, sold it, right? I bought it on PS4, had the physical case, got it in Best Buy. Then I ended up selling it. I should say I bought the physical version, didn't open it for like 3 weeks, finally opened it, played it for like maybe an hour, never finished playing it, never got past like the first hour or two in it, and then I ended up selling it, and then I ended up buying it again like digitally. So I do own the digital version with the DLC and all of that stuff. So eventually I'll get to Final Fantasy 15. Then now they got Final Fantasy 16 that I have to play as well too, that I need to get. So yeah, man. But Final Fantasy, of the series that I did play, more recently I played 7 Remake, the first version. I haven't played Rebirth yet, but Final Fantasy definitely in the masterpiece tier for sure, for sure, for sure. Just so many classic games, and that's not even me bringing up like the OG Final Fantasy games like 1, 2, 3, or even like the spin-offs like Tactics and all of that stuff. Like, just it's just way too many classical games that, you know, you have to put Final Fantasy in a masterpiece tier, in my opinion, bro. Moving on though, again, I'm gonna kind of jump around because there are quite a few. I'm just only realizing how many series that we, like, you know, actually have to go through, like how many franchises that we have to go through. So I'm gonna start tackling these in like bunches, bro. I'm not even gonna lie to y'all, because this video is gonna be like 2 hours long if I sit here and go one by one. But I'll go with Hearts of Iron, right? I'm putting Hearts of Iron and Never Played. I'm putting Victoria and Never Played, and I'm putting Europa Universalis and Never Played. Now I'm going to be completely honest with y'all. Y'all can crucify me in the comments. I've never even heard of these 3 games. Never heard of them. Like, I couldn't tell you anything about them. I will also throw Crusader Kings in here as well too. Never played. I believe I heard of Crusaders, but I've never played it. We could also throw Civ in there as well too, as never played. Definitely a game. Civ 4 is on my backlog because I've heard so many people talk about, oh, Civ 4, Civ 4, Civ 4. As far as like, I don't even know what genre of games to call this. Like, I don't want to call this like a city builder, because I really wouldn't consider it like a city builder, right? But like the Civ, you know, Sims type of like top down, you're like creating your civilization and your society and stuff. Those type of games, like, I've only really extensively played Tropico. I've played like all, like Tropico 1, Tropico 2, Tropico 3. Didn't play Tropico 4, but also played a shit ton of Tropico 5, and as well as Tropico 6. That's the only type of game like that I've played. So Civ 4 definitely on my backlog. I definitely got to get around to playing Civ 4, but that's the only I've heard of Civilization or Civ, but never really played any of the games. Civ 4 is definitely on the backlog though, but I can't really say I've been told to play any other games. People always tell me to play Civ 4. But yeah, moving on though, where do we want to jump to next? I guess we could do Warcraft. We could do Warcraft because that's also another game that I haven't played. We could throw Warcraft up there. Forza Horizon, again, another Forza sport game that I haven't played. Yeah, I haven't played that. I'll throw Tuhu. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it. Tuho Project. Never played any of those games, so I couldn't tell you anything about these. Like this is just foreign to me. I've heard of Warcraft, World of Warcraft, so I know what it is. Don't get me wrong, but I've never really been much of like an MMO RPG type of player. That's never really been my bag. Like, the closest I've ever came to like really playing an MMO is probably like playing Neverwinter on PS4, and I barely played that. I only played that because my friend like dragged me to play it or whatever. That and like whatever that one Justice League game was, or DC Universe, Justice League Universe, whatever that one game was as well too. That is like the closest I've ever been to playing any type of MMO. That is just, I'm just gonna be completely honest, that is just not my bag at all. That has never been my bag, and to be fair, it probably never will be my bag. I do have friends that play, you know, games like that, Warcraft, they play RuneScape, and they tell me, you know, yo, man, you gotta get on, and I'm like, just like, yeah, yo, maybe some other time, but the truth be told is, I'm probably never gonna play that. That's just not, you know, my bag. So, you know, not for me, you know. Moving on, we have our next games. I'm going with some fighting games now, right? I'm gonna go with King of Fighters, right? King of Fighters. I'm gonna put an above average. Hey, actually, you know what? I'm gonna go with mid. I'm gonna go with mid. And I know some fighting nerds, fighting game nerds, they're gonna be mad at me for putting it in mid. I'm going King of Fighters mid. Capcom versus, I'll go above average, right? And then Mortal Kombat, I'm gonna go with very good. And the reason why I'm gonna go with very good for Mortal Kombat, I know some people would say, "Oh man, masterpiece for sure," but for me, Mortal Kombat, like, I feel like on average, it kind of has like the same criteria as Sonic, whereas like for every bad game, like there are bad Mortal Kombat games. Like let's be frank, there are bad Mortal Kombat games, just like there are bad Sonic games, and I feel like in order for you to be qualified for a masterpiece, you have to have like damn near no bad games, right? Like there's Final Fantasy games that's not my cup of tea. Like again, like I said, 11, 14, 8, but those games are still like renowned, where it's just still like, okay, I might not like it, but those games are still renowned universally. Like everybody else is like, yo, Final Fantasy 8, Final Fantasy 11, Final Fantasy this. You know, same thing with Super Mario. Like there might be a Super Mario game where I'm just like, I'm not a fan of it. That's not really, yo, Mario Odyssey, I don't know, man, right? But everybody else is like, no, Mario Odyssey, fire as fuck. Mario Galaxy 2, fire as fuck. Sunshine, fire as fuck. So there might be some Mario games where you're just like, I'm not really a fan of it. But universally, it's like, nah, bro, banger, no misses, right? Mortal Kombat has some misses, dog. You know what I'm saying? Like, off the top of my head, I would say Mortal Kombat 1 and 2. 1 and 2 heat. Mortal Kombat Trilogy heat. Deception, wasn't a fan of Deception. I wasn't a fan of Deception. I can't remember. Wait, I want to say Armageddon was alright. I gotta remember because I go based off of the fighting list. Who the roster. The roster tells me which game is which. Like I'm trying to remember which game was the first game that they added Quan Chi in. Cause that game was alright, bro. I don't think it was Deception though. I want to say it was Armageddon because I remember Quan Chi being on Nintendo 64. That was like the first time I seen Quan Chi was on a Nintendo 64 Mortal Kombat. I wasn't even playing on PlayStation at that point. So I want to say that one was a banger. And then like more modern Mortal Kombat, I can't really speak too much on because I don't really play fighting games like that anymore. The last Mortal Kombat game I played, I want to say was Mortal Kombat 11. I want to say Mortal Kombat 11. I didn't play the recent one, which was, I think, Mortal Kombat 1. But with the way they reboot and do the whole franchise and series and then redo the story, it's just way too confusing to keep up with. But I'm going to go with very good. That's just my opinion. I'm going with very good. That's just me, bro. And then Capcom versus, Marvel, X-Men and all of that stuff. Those are bangers. Those are bangers. Like, I mean, you really could put those in good but I'm going with above average because I just put Capcom with Street Fighter. It's all the same to me, so that's why I'm putting it on above average. And then King of Fighters, I can only really say that the King of Fighters game that I really mess with, or a King of Fighters game that I really like was I want to say 98. It's like King of Fighters 98, and then it's like, I think King of Fighters like either 01 or 02 or something like that. But there's not too many King of Fighter games that I really played or genuinely liked. I should say, I guess I can say both played and like, but those like are the main 2 or 3 games that I've played and I've enjoyed. And those are the games that I've played and seen at like the arcade. Like I remember there being a King of Fighters, I want to say 98 at an arcade. I remember playing King of Fighters 98 video game. You know what I'm saying? Like any King of Fighters game coming out now, I'm oblivious to. I don't know. King of Fighters might be fire as hell right now. You know what I'm saying? Just cold as hell, and I wouldn't know because I don't keep up with it. You know what I'm saying? But my opinion, I would throw it in mid just because most of the games I was just, why would I play this when I could play Street Fighter or Soul Calibur or Power Stone or Mortal Kombat or Tekken? Like, you know what I mean? It's just so many other games, or even like Virtual Fighter. Like, there's just so many other games that you could play. And that's not just to, just to shit on King of Fighters. 'Cause like I said, they did have some good games, but just on average, these other games were just that much better, bro. You know what I mean? Like, let's see, where we go next? Let's go somewhere I'm familiar, right? Somewhere that I really know about, right? Let's go with some sports games, bro. We gonna go with Madden. We'll go Madden. We'll go 2K. I want to see if they have the different name, because I don't want to lump this in if they do have that series, but it don't look like they have that series, right? Like, I'm looking through here, and it's looking like they lumped that in with WWE. I mean, we might have to see as we go down the line, because there's just so many different, there's just so many damn different games and franchises, bro. So I kind of don't want to lump it in together if it isn't. If it does have their own version, which it should, but I'm just scrolling through the names and like I haven't seen it. So with that being said, I'm just gonna kind of lump it in together. I'm gonna go with WWE, but I'm lumping WWE in with the SmackDown series, SmackDown versus Raw series, the SmackDown series and the SmackDown versus Raw series, because I don't see SmackDown versus Raw or SmackDown in here anywhere. So we just gonna kind of lump them all together. I'm gonna go with the EA Sports as well too. Whoa, wait a minute, where's Okay, there we go. EA NHL. So, boom. So, for EA NHL, right? I'm kind of fairly new to the NHL series. I started playing NHL like NHL 18, 19. So, I probably missed the golden era. Like, for people who really play hockey, they're like, oh, the golden era was like NHL 8 or NHL 12, 14 or whatever, like, because, people usually have a fondness for the older games, because they're usually, just nostalgia purposes, but also, as you age, sports games kind of take things out and then they try to re-add it back in to make you think that they're really doing something with the game when they're really not. I've seen it personally firsthand with Madden. I've seen it personally firsthand with NBA 2K. So I would imagine NHL and every other sports game is not that different, right? So for NHL, I've only been playing since like 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, like, the last like 6 or 7 years. So my viewpoint of NHL is going to be a little bit different than like the diehard dude who's been playing NHL his entire life. So for me, I'm putting NHL in mid. Now, the reason why I'm putting NHL in mid, because honestly, you could go above average, but I feel like year to year, there just hasn't been any changes, bro. Like, from when I started playing in, like, again, 18, 19, up until now, 25, which I really didn't play much of 25. Played a hell of a lot of 24 and 23, 22. I would say there hasn't really been any major changes in the last, like, 5 years. The only real change that I could say is that they screwed up the matchmaking, where the matchmaking is way worse and it's way harder to find matches. And also, I would say that another thing that they did was that, like, they made hitting harder. Before, you used to kind of could just lock on to people with the right stick and it would just like automatically like heat seek them. Whereas like now you can't heat seek, so it's kind of like hard as hell to check people, which I guess is good because a lot of people just make heavy builds and they would just knock people down and just try to play 3-on-2, or just have like an odd man rush every single time by just like hitting people nonstop and whatnot. So I guess that's kind of good. But outside of that, to me, there hasn't really been any changes from 25 plays, like outside of the hitting. 25 plays just like 24, 24 plays just like 23, 23 plays just like 22. And then when you get to like the 22, 21, 20, like there might be a little change in like the momentums and stuff like that they add to the game, where you could really feel like, oh, like the rubber banding momentum shift of like, now they're just letting this dude get like every loose puck. They're letting them get like bullshit goals hitting off pads and just sliding in like past the goalie and stuff. Like outside of little nitpicky things like that, I haven't really noticed much of a difference. That's just me. Now, I'm sure there's a hardcore player that could tell you the intricacies and, nah, man, they changed this, they did that. But for me, as somebody who's only played like the last 5, 6, 7 years, I haven't really noticed much of a difference. So I'm putting NHL in mid. 2K, as much as I love basketball and my main channel is a 2K channel, I'm going to have to go with, I will go with just above average. And I'm mostly going with above average because of the cachet that 2K has, like pre-VC, pre-my career, only online. Like they build up an amazing cachet. I would say 2K17, 2K16, those years prior to like the last like 8 years of 2K, 7 years of 2K, I would say they built up an amazing cachet. From 2K18 and onwards, that shit would be in not good or horrible. If we're talking about 2K18 up until 2K25, we're looking at horrible or trash. But we got to go all the way back to the original 2K with Ivo on the cover, 2K with Shaq, Chris Paul, 2K8, one of the greatest 2Ks of all time. 2K10 with Kobe on the cover, one of the greatest my career 2Ks of all time, with like the summer circuit and the G League, and having to fight your way out of the G League, starting from like a 45 overall and having to grind all the way up to a 99, having skill points, not even being able to buy your way up with VC because it was only skill points at that time. Like, 2K has a lot of cachet, in my opinion, with their fan base for the OGs that been playing like for years. Like, I'm talking about dudes like Chris Smooth come to mind, like the 2K10, 2K11, like my career days, where it was just basically offline. Like, people, a lot of these dudes that talk about 2K now, they just started playing 2K with like 2K17, 2K18, 2K19. A lot of these dudes, they first 2K was like 2K18, 2K17, 2K19. So it's like you don't even know like true basketball. Like you don't even know how good we used to have it. Like, as far as like microtransactions not dominating the game and all of that stuff. Like, you wasn't even around for those days. So I feel like 2K has enough cachet where I could put it in above average. Probably could even put it in the good section, but yeah, above average. Same thing with Madden. Like, we're building up the cachet and how great the older games used to be. You kind of have to put them in above average. But with the way the microtransactions dominate the game, the way they take out so many features, the way that so many modes don't get updated because they only care about the modes that make them money and whatnot, you want to put it in trash tier, but then you remember the older games, and we're talking about the overall franchise. We're not talking about just the last 5 years, the last 10 years. We're talking about the overall franchise going all the way back to Madden 2000 and Madden, 2002 and 03 and 04 with, Sean Alexander on the cover, 07, 06 with, I'm trying to think who was on the cover of 06. 06, I want to say McNabb. 07, Sean Alexander. 08, Vince Young. I want to say 09, Brett Favre. 10, I want to say Larry Fitzgerald. That might have been 12. I don't know. 13, Calvin Johnson, I think. Trying to think who was on 05. I want to say Eddie George 05, or maybe Eddie George was 04. No. 05 had to be Ray Lewis. 04 had to be Eddie George, right? Oh, who was 03? 02 was what, Dante Culpepper? I couldn't even tell you 03, but as you can see, I'm a crazy Madden head. I used to buy Madden every single year. I was definitely addicted to Madden, and I want to say around Madden 12, 13 is when they lost me. The last Madden I bought was Madden 25 on sale, and then previous to that was Madden 19, and then before that, we're talking about the PS3 era of Madden. It's been like a minute. Like, you know, I buy Madden like every like 5 years or so because I'm just done with this franchise. But I still put them in above average tier just because of their cachet and what they used to bring. And then finally we have WWE 2K, aka SmackDown versus Raw, and I'm gonna put this in the good tier. I kind of want to put it in the very good because the SmackDown series was legendary, and people might give me flack for this, but I think the SmackDown series was the best wrestling series I've ever seen. Like video game, period. Like, you know, there was WWF Warzone that I loved. There was WWF Attitude, which was an amazing game. Before SmackDown, there was WWF Attitude, and that was the GOAT wrestling game in my opinion. Now, I played WCW Nitro. I forgot there was this one like really generic ass wrestling game on PlayStation 1 where it was just like these no-name wrestlers. It was just awful, bro. But I played WCW Nitro. I played AEW recently. Wasn't a fan of that, but I played pretty much every SmackDown game. SmackDown Know Your Role, SmackDown Just Bring It, SmackDown Shut Your Mouth, SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, SmackDown vs. Raw, SmackDown vs. Raw 06, 07, 08, 09, the one with ECW. Like, I played pretty much every wrestling game, and it wasn't until they switched to WWE 2K that I was kind of out of there and I stopped playing the games. Mostly one, because I stopped watching wrestling in like high school, but more importantly, they changed the controls. And when they went with these weird modernized controls, I feel like if wrestling went back to the SmackDown versus Raw controls where like triangle was to sprint and run and it was just, you know, pressing square to punch, or X to punch, square to kick, and like circle to grab. If they just went back with the basic controls that they had, or just allow an alternative controls that they had for SmackDown versus Raw, I would probably be willing to give WWE 2K another go. Like, but because of the controls is the one reason why I don't play WWE 2K. Even when they give it out for free, I still don't play this game. But I'm going to be ending the video here. This will be part 1 of, ranking 500 plus franchises. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. I'm going to end it here because I don't want this video to be way too long. We're already at like 30 something minutes. I guess I'm going to chop this video up and just do different parts so it's not too crazy long. But hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Please be sure to drop a like, comment, and subscribe. And I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.